Episode 14 of So I'm a Spider, So What started out really good. I I was having so much fun watching this episode. Unfortunately, the second half not so good. Not so good at all. But that goes back to my issues with Hugo altogether. But anyways, yeah, the episode started out great, having Kumiko having to interact with humans at this point, and it is not turning out very well. Of course, she notices a bunch of bandits, makes a comment about how more handsome humans are a lot more tastier, but she'll have to deal because she knows there's a infant or a small child on the in the carriage itself that's being attacked. And it was funny because she had these little moments of like inner thoughts of if I was a prince at this point, I would open the door and they'd be like, "Oh, my savior!" And then she takes out all the bandits and then she's leaving and then the girl opens up the carriage. And she's like, "Oh, this is the point where she asks, you know, tell me your name at least." But yeah, she notices the baby and actually scans it and notices that it is a vampire. This child in this lady's arms is a vampire, and we'll find out later on that it's actually Sophia, one of the incarnates. She was trying to figure out why it had a separate name on there, if it was a different pronunciation or not. But yeah, notices that it's a vampire. She gets really upset at the fact that why did she get to reincarnate as a cute vampire and I get as a spider, and she starts rolling around as the evil looking spider and they're like watching her. I also like to I got a kick out of the fact that they had that kind of that difference there when she finishes off the bandit, she jumps out and suddenly it pops on her cutesy face and the music like cuts to a halt and it kind of goes back between that whole here's the gruesome spider attacking action to here's Goofy Kumiko again. But that was excellent as well. But yeah, I just loved these scenes so much. It was just so much fun just seeing her kind of inner imagination going wild, the saving the child, getting upset, rolling around as an evil looking spider, and everybody's just kind of watching like, what in the world is this thing? Kind of surprising they didn't really have the actual people that were saved kind of acknowledge it, like say, okay, this spider saved us, what's going on, or anything like that. They just kind of stood there and stared. So I guess that's all you can really do when you're trying to figure out if something's going to kill you or not. But yeah, that's when things kind of started going downhill from this point. Yes, we jump over and we now see because now we have knowledge that Sophia is this vampire and she's been working on that side with Hugo, and later on we find out that she's working for the Demon Lord. But yeah, it did technically acknowledge the fact that the elves were after her, and that's why the carriage was also going to be attacked a second time. So it does kind of point out the fact that the elves aren't really the elves are up to something, and obviously this is possibly the triggering point for at least for Sophia, anyways. But a triggering point for somebody that there's all these people trying to take control of these, possibly take control of the reincarnates. I'm not sure if they're acknowledging that that is what they're after specifically, but they're up to something, and that's obviously what drove Sophia to be what she needs, be what she is now, is the rough things that she had to go through growing up. But yeah, I did make a mistake in my last episode. I did say that Anna was in the room with Hugo and the rest of them. I think it was Sophia. This gets to my whole issue with the second half altogether, so bear with me. I mean, this studio just cannot do non CGI. It is beyond them to do it, and it is frustrating at this point because I don't know what's happening half the time during the action. I made a joke. I wrote down a note as a joke as the idea of, okay, I guess Katya stabbed herself. I don't know. It was literally we're staring at a face and then boom, and then she's on the ground dying, and it's like I guess she stabbed herself. I don't know. Maybe Sophia shot her with an arrow. I don't know, because the show refuses to show anything, and the angles of perspective and everything is just super awkward at this point. And it has been my issue with the series altogether is whenever it's on the regular human side and it's not using CGI, they just can't do it. It's an impossibility for them to. It's not really so much that I need to see crazy action scenes. I just need to see what's in the room. I have a struggle with acknowledging what's in a room at any time because these angles and these shots are so close up and stuff's happening, but I don't know what's happening because the angle that you're showing me and what's going around you is I can't make it out. So, anyways, I'm beating that to death. Moving on. Yeah, Hugo is doing his thing. Sophia's helping. Sophia obviously was doing it as ordered by the Demon Lord. Hugo's brainwashing people using a Seven Deadly Sins super skill, so he's able to control them longer. He makes Sue kill the king because the king was going to crown Shun as king instead of his son, and that's what his son was wanted. I don't care. Again, this is the side that I'm just not really. It's not interesting. I don't know why. I do want to get enjoyment out of the human side. I'm not getting it so far. It's kind of like juvenile Game of Thrones. There you go. It's juvenile Game of Thrones, and so it's not really interesting to me at this point. I'm not really getting much out of it, but we'll see if it can make things more interesting going forward. Obviously, having the Demon Lord involved. I'm not here or there on Sophia at this point, but we'll see. It was good to see Faye come back. She swooped in and rescued. I'm excited to see what they do with Faye. She's obviously a lot stronger now. I guess to get into my theories at this point, because I still want to theorize what's happening on the human side and everything. I don't really want to dismiss it completely. I'm thinking at this point that the reason why the Demon Lord, and this goes back again, if the Demon Lord is Kumiko, it leads me to believe that she has made them do this in order to drive Shun and the rest of them out of the kingdom because she has to take over the kingdom. And she doesn't want them getting caught in the conflict. So this would be a good way to do it, is just to cause this conflict, make them flee. Sophia obviously said this is all according to your plan. Everything went smoothly, so obviously them fleeing was a part of the plan. Sophia was not going to kill them. Sophia was just driving them out. Of course, she did kind of seem like she wanted to do more than that. This is what the plan was, and they succeeded at it. So the only people remaining at the kingdom at this point is Sophia and Hugo. Well, yeah, that's it. Sophia and Hugo. That's the only ones that are remaining back at the kingdom. Everybody else is out. So she at this point can come in and take it over. Now, why she needs to do that goes back to the destruction that she's seen in her vision. She obviously knows that the world's coming to an end, and maybe taking over the kingdom is something that she needs to do. Does she need to take over the kingdom to stop them from drawing the power, to stop them from getting these skills that's destroying the world? We'll see that going forward, but that's my theory. Again, if Kumiko is... And that again kind of hits my idea of it being that the Demon Lord is Kumiko, one of her minds, because obviously she wouldn't want to save the other classmates. She wouldn't want to mention the fact that she hopes that Shun's not upset that she has to kill, that she's going to kill Julia. Obviously, again, the Demon Lord has to be one of the classmates, and a classmate that wants to protect them. I'm thinking at this point we're going to finally hit a conflict with Yuri, because obviously we are now have the church brainwashed. Yuri's going to listen to whatever the church says. Now Yuri's going to be probably sent after Shun, and that's going to cause a big issue there, so we'll see where that goes. But yeah, I really did like this episode, especially the first part of it. Second half, like I said, I'm fine with what's happening. I don't care about Hugo. As always, that whole conflict doesn't matter to me. But the issue is really the animation. They really need to fix something up. Maybe this is a case where they should have done a split core, and they didn't. And this is a proof sign right here of what happens when they are trying to stick to a 2-core schedule. But yeah, that's my thoughts on So My Spider So What episode 14. If you like this video, please leave a like, comment, let me know what you thought of the episode. Again, as always, if you know what's going on in the light novel, please don't spoil things. And if you have not already, please subscribe to the channel. It does help us, and I do appreciate it. And I hope you all enjoyed this episode, and y'all take care.